The squash community, I would say, has a somewhat of an interesting reputation across the world as being an elitist sport, all in whites, very hoity-toity kind of sport. But the squash community in Nelson, I'd say, is very different. We're playing with broken down shoes and old rackets a lot of the time. You can wear black ripped jeans if you want to. You can wear old shoes. We have loaner rackets for everybody. Although it's not a hoity-toity community, it is very much a community sport down here. The club is 30 years old, over 30 years old. The club was formed as a racquetball club, as it was, because back 30 years ago that was a sport people were playing in Canada. From there we moved the courts around a bit because squash courts are smaller than racquetball courts. We had 4 squash courts now. Back when it was first formed, it was a private owners that own the club. And they operated it that way for about 20 years. And about 10 years ago, the building was sold and the club lost its space. And the club went from 4 courts down to 2 courts. And we moved upstairs to our 2 shoddier courts. And we continued to play and tried over a couple years, 2-3 years, continue to keep the sport alive.
Our membership plummeted at that time. I mean, and it was really only the die-hard players that stuck around. But there was still a love of the game. We still had our league night every Wednesday night through the season, but it just wasn't the same.
We did go out and try to go find another spot for us, and we kicked tires at what became the movie theater now, the Civic Theater, and we kicked tires at working with the curling club for some space there, but we couldn't find a great landing spot. So we were upstairs scraping by with about 30 members, and then luckily, the building reverted back and we got our space back. Those 30 members really held on to being able to keep this sport alive in Nelson.
I think part of my tenure as the president, particularly in the time that we were upstairs, was to keep the dream alive. That one day we would have a proper facility again. I didn't think at the time that it was going to be the old facility that we've always had. But so glad that it is, because this is home.
The membership got together, had a big fundraiser, and we renovated the club so that we have the lounge that you can see here behind me now. We have 4 courts, although one of them we lease out to the Circus Club, which is great. They're a great partner with us upstairs. And so now we have 3 courts and a great community of squash.
I've been here through the whole transition of just being a member-owned club, key club, going in, playing your match and leaving, to how it is now, where we have this great facility back, having the bar, having the social part of it, which is one of the biggest reasons for growth of our facility, is that we have this new facility. Actually, it's not new. Our old facility back.
It's not only great courts, but also a great atmosphere and a nice place for people to relax after they play. We have a nice lounge and you can sit down and have any kind of beverage you want, have a slice of pizza sometimes, and just talk and cheer amongst yourselves, cheer your friends on, and have a great time.
We're definitely an anomaly in terms of the size of the community and the richness of our facility. So many people come from out of town for our tournaments and say, oh, this place is awesome. We don't have anything like this where I'm from. And in many cases, they're from larger centers, tucked in as part of a gym or something like that. This place is unique. There's no question about it.
Like curling or like a team sport, this is a great kind of atmosphere where you can have an individual sport and you can organize something with 2 people, let's say, but after that you can sit down with 7 or 8 other people and jaw about your game or talk about how your week was or whatever. So the social atmosphere is super, but you're still in an individual sport that's easy to organize.
Once you play squash, you start to get to know all the squash players in town, and because we're such a small community, you recognize each other, you get to know each other. We stay and socialize after our matches. So as well as the love of the actual actual sport on court, there is that social network afterwards of being able to come make new friends at the bar, literally right outside the squash court, and just feel like you're a part of something.
One of the challenges of being here is that we're in a building that's not owned by the club. So we have a couple more years on our lease for the facility, and then after that, you just never know what's going to happen. There's always risk to being a tenant in a building, and one day it would be nice to be in a city-owned facility, let's say, or in a facility that's owned by the club. And we're always looking forward to that possibility.
The potential for squash in Nelson to grow is huge. We don't even really have a junior program that's just starting now, but keeping this sport alive in Nelson is really great for athleticism, just sense of community, having different groups integrated, like you're having your youth in here with new moms, seniors, you're having every age group in here playing, and they're all playing the same sport. They're playing it all a little bit differently, but they're all on the court together, and that's what's kind of fun about it. I hope that we can grow this facility big enough that we are able to survive and thrive in Nelson just based on our membership alone.
20 years ago, the membership was pretty vibrant. There was 120, 130 people here, and we hope to get at least that many members back and grow on into the future.